Well, tonight, Richard Spencer will speak at Texas A&M University after receiving an invitation from a former student at the university. You might be saying, who is Richard Spencer? Well, here we go. Last month, Spencer ignited controversy when what he calls his white nationalist group converged on Washington, D.C. His speech received cheers from supporters who were seen giving that salute you see on the screen there. Texas A&M released a statement on Spencer's attendance saying, to be clear, Texas A&M University, including faculty, staff, students, and/or student groups, did not invite this speaker, to our campus, nor do we endorse his rhetoric in any way. In fact, our leadership finds his views as expressed to date in direct conflict with our core values. Well, tonight, members of campus are holding a counter event. It's called Aggies United, bringing together students, alumni, and faculty against, quote, hatred and intolerance. And joining me, the co-host of tonight's event, Texas A&M student body president Hannah Wimberly, and one of tonight's speakers, host and managing editor of News One Now, Roland Martin, who's also, if you do not know this, I will make it clear, an alumni of Texas A&M. Thank you so much for joining us. Hannah, let me start off with you.
You're all stopping round, Cameron.
I got my TV start just blocks away from where you are right now. Hannah, let's start with you here. Richard Spencer, invited there by a former student of the university not backing this. When you heard the news that this guy who refers to himself as a white nationalist, we have this title of alt-right. When I started out reporting 30 years ago, this was called white supremacist. With that said, we know the message that he wants to convey there. How did that make you feel?
I was just honestly distraught, and students immediately started reaching out to me and expressing how upset they were that someone would come onto our campus and spread these views that directly contradict everything that we stand for at Texas A&M. It was a sad realization, most certainly.
So, Roland, let's put this in a larger perspective. A lot of universities have been criticized for not wanting divergent views. Condoleezza Rice, for example, a university not far from here, Rutgers, did not want her to give the commencement speech. That these universities have become so safe zony that a view that is counter to everything you may believe is kept out. Does that apply in this case? Should he have a platform to speak?
No, it doesn't apply. First and foremost, remember when Condoleezza Rice, that was folks who were objecting to her politics, and that made no sense to me, and so I felt that protest was ridiculous. This is somebody who's advocating white supremacy. Look, we discussed it. I interviewed Richard Spencer on TV One. His views are absolutely abhorrent. But see, here's why this is critical. What he is saying, frankly, is very overt. But then you have those folks who hold views like Richard Spencer that are covert. Individuals who go on to hire, individuals who go on to fire. And so we must actually confront that, because that's a fundamental problem. And you know, during the primary, we saw 50% of Donald Trump supporters who made comments such as 50% of African Americans are lazy and criminals. Their thoughts about LGBT, thoughts about Muslims. But also you had folks who were Hillary Clinton supporters who also had racist views as well. The point that we have to confront is, what are these personal views that we have, and how do they impact our society? That's why I was willing to come down. Students reached out to me to come down to be a part of this, to say that's not who we are.
Let me play a little bit of Roland's interview with Spencer. This is what he had to say on slavery. Let's play that.
The white people ultimately don't need other races in order to succeed, in order to be ourselves. Absolutely not.
So how do you think America became the greatest economic nation without...
Not through black people.
Oh, it wasn't? It wasn't because of free labor?
Look, the whole point here is that who creates these systems? Who creates these business models and businesses?
Slavery was a business model?
Well, yes, it was a business model, yeah.
So, Roland, some might say, why not, and Hannah, I'll ask you, why not attend this forum with Richard Spencer, hear what he has to say, and counter him there in a nonviolent, obviously nonviolent way, rather than having something away from him?
I think that attending this event allows people to normalize the rhetoric that he's espousing, and I don't think we should be normalizing what he's saying. What he says we should not stand for, and attending that is somewhat consenting to allowing that to become more normalized within our society.
This is also challenging, Tamron, challenging other students to go beyond their boundaries. Jim Wallace has his new book, and he talks about that, how we must confront the issue of race in this country. And so one of the things that I'm going to talk about tonight is to move students to say, go outside of your traditional patterns. Who do you eat lunch with? Who do you eat dinner with? Who do you converse with? How are you learning about other students, folks who you may not be aware of? That's part of this issue when we talk about race in America, how we live in our own silos.
Yeah. And just quickly, Hannah, this student, Preston Whittington, who invited Spencer, he is actually a former student. He did not graduate from the university. He only attended there a year, and then he went on to Russia. He told the Houston Chronicle that he was disappointed by the university's response. Do you feel empowered with the actions that you've been able to take?
Absolutely, and we're hosting an event tonight in Kyle Field, our football stadium, called Aggies United, and it's going to be a time for us to come together and celebrate the beautiful diversity that is Texas A&M, and celebrate our unique stories and talk about how we can continue propelling forward and become an environment that's even more inclusive than it already is. And if that's not empowering, I don't know what is. It's going to be an incredible event.
Well, I got to give a shout out to KBTX, which is the station I started out at, right in the heart of Aggie country, and the best pepperoni rolls I've ever had in my life in that neck of the woods. I have to bring in a little lighter note because it's been one heck of a day. Thank you so much.
I'll be sure to bring you a chicken fried steak back.
God bless you, with extra gravy and a biscuit. Thank you. And we'll be right back.
All right.